Hey everybody, it's Easy Mode. I just wanted to take a quick aside here before the episode starts to apologize that we are behind on getting these episodes out. Just had some life experiences kind of catch up with me, but things will be getting back on track, and I really want to thank all of our listeners because it wouldn't be doable without you guys.
Howdy, hey, ghouls, gals, and other pals. Welcome back to Shadowrunning on Empty, where we fill your noggin with some sweet, sweet lore. I'm Tyler, and I'm starting off by introducing one of my co-hosts. He's no color out of space, but he's still out of this world. He's no eldritch horror, and to his wife, he'll never bore her. If his charisma were a landmark, it'd be at the mountains of radness. Austin, how's it going, man?
I don't even know, man. Yeah, it's going good, man. I appreciate the introduction. That is fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going all right, man. I'm the one thing on my doorstep I would not be disappointed to encounter on a random winter's morn would be our host So Easy Mode. How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Quote the Easy Mode. Caw! Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm here, right? I think. What is here?
I don't know, man. You could be a figment of our collective imaginations.
Thanks everybody to all our listeners for collectively coming together and pulling me from the ether as the Gestalt thought.
Only a man of such charm and charisma could be imagined by a collective populace, truly.
Charm and charisma. My goodness.
Knowledge to boot. You know, you kind of you drive me mad, Easy.
And they say that I have a face for radio.
Ooh, my.
Oh boy. Well, I guess that takes us to our topic, right? Yeah, topics. We'll talk about topics. Lore topic for this evening. We're gonna reach deep into the dark recesses of the sixth world and pull forth the followers of the Elder God. Put on your squiggly squid hats, right?
I can't believe you're calling me out on this call. The audience can't see it, but I wore this for the special occasion and I feel called out.
High five your nearest star child and get ready to praise whatever it is that's wrapped in yellow.
All we know is we can't say its name.
You never say whatever they are name. It's bad. You don't do it. If you know, then you know, and that's the important part.
And if you don't know, you're about to know.
You are about to know. We're gonna dive. So this information kind of comes in a lot in bits and pieces, and you have to kind of collab it together yourself. And some of the things that we're going to go over here will probably give you reminiscent images of, if you're fans of, say, the SCP files, some of the things that we talk about in the way that they're actually presented are very in the same vein.
Did we actually say what we're talking about?
Yeah, we said the followers of the Elder God.
Oh, okay. I was like, we've said all these like different titles. I don't know.
I know we've alluded to Elder Gods, and we can't say their names lest they be brought into the physical universe.
Yes.
And then we also come to madness.
Sorry, as soon as you started talking, I started going to silent prayer to the old ones. As I'm wont to do.
Well, don't worry. I made sure that I reinforced all my elder signs.
Yay.
No random portals opening in my basement.
Darn, you're missing out.
Yeah, because that's the last thing that I need.
Oh yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. So, where does all of this information begin? It all kind of starts from a random data dump from one Night Stalker. And if you are in the know, Night Stalker is the moniker for one Martin de Veers, everyone's favorite vampire who hunts vampires.
No, mine is Blade. How dare you?
Mm.
How dare you assume?
Mine is Van Helsing, but specifically the Hugh Jackman one.
Well, he wasn't a vampire, he was a werewolf.
But he's a vampire.
Whoa,
hunter.
spoilers for
What
for
the
Van
heck,
Helsing,
dude? For
the
2005?
yeah, the 2005.
If
Hugh
you need a
Jackman pilot.
spoiler alert for
Jeez.
2005, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Oh man.
Next, you're gonna tell me the end of The Shining. Hey.
Jesus.
Well,
You're gonna tell me that he was dead from the beginning of the movie.
Huh?
What I'm gonna say is that there's some ice and the shrubbery maze. That's all I got. Anyway, Martin de Veers.
Like fourth best vampire who hunts vampires.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Now that we have that clarified.
Behind Blade, I mean, obviously. But he is the one that puts this out to the Shadow community. The data dump apparently comes from an Ordo Maximus Labs data vault. I know the next question you're going to have too, because I can read your
What's
mind.
Who's it?
Exactly. Ordo Maximus. It is a semi-secretive magical society believed to be headquartered somewhere in Eastern Europe. Supposedly has around 1,000 members worldwide. And it is a secret society of vampires.
Are they also vampire hunters?
Members are recruited from among the nobility of Europe and the British Isles, who have magical talent, wealth, and political influence. No, they are vampires trying to work with the HMHVV strain to understand it. Yeah, they're using their political connections to fund research on the biomagical type. Their goal is to create strains of HMHVV which will give others the strengths and weaknesses of vampirism, with the Ordo being the one to decide who gets what strains.
Oh, so just genetically engineering vampirism?
Yes. That's one of their goals. They would also like to remove the vulnerability that vampires have to sunlight.
Like Blade?
Yes. Sunscreen does not work. I don't care what the SPF is.
It does nothing.
They also plan to create strains that can be used as biological weapons, strains that let them create monsters or super beings from various metatypes, and of course, vampiric pawns. So, vampires being vampires.
I mean, I don't remember hearing about vampires with warheads. That's new.
Yeah, you gotta have your own arsenal, right?
I don't keep my arsenal full of vampiric warheads, but I'm about to change that soon. So thank you.
You're welcome. Step into the future is all I'm saying. It's vampiric.
It sucks.
Oh.
Yuck.
Anyway, Martin drops this information from Ordo Maximus. So that gives you the background of what it could possibly be connected to. The first bit of information that we're getting is from an initiate of the Ordo, talking about an excavation that is going on in Askat, which is in Russia. and they have found 3 items of power in this excavation. There are 3 focus items, apparently of varying magnitude and potency. 2 of them were so potent that they didn't need to astrally confirm that they were powerful foci.
Just residual magic.
Yes. The first item is a spearhead that was attached to a staff. The staff has been ravaged by time and is decayed and falling apart, but the spearhead itself appears to be elvish in make, and the material it's made out of is extraordinarily light, and it is uncannily sharp on the edges of the spear.
So we're not doing the Spear of Longinus then.
No, we're not doing the Spear of
Oh,
Longinus. I know, you're
okay.
disappointed.
It's kind of weird how frequent cosmic horror crosses over into the Spear of Longinus being involved in some way. It's kind of crazy.
You're not wrong. I feel like it's made its presence known a few times.
Yeah, for people that also may not know, the Spear of Longinus is said to be the spear that pierced the side of Christ at the crucifixion. It's like a holy historical relic, but it's also said to have like strange supernatural powers because it killed Jesus. So
one of the more
for
prominent
3 days, then he got better.
Yeah, then he got better.
We all read the story.
The most prominent movie it's been used in recently, if you want to see the spear in action, is Constantine, starring one Keanu Reeves.
True. It is also referenced in the first Hellboy movie with Ron Perlman.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Eldritch Horror. So the second one is the Elven Spearhead.
No, the first one they find is the Elven Spearhead. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The second one they find is an amber orb that has an associated silver work like connected to it. It's like strings of silver.
Interesting.
Is this from the movie or from the Eldritch Horror lore?
This is the Eldritch Horror
This
lore.
is the Eldritch Horror.
Okay. So seamless. I didn't even notice.
I was really hoping that it was gonna be like an amber orb with like a eldritch mosquito inside of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's see where we're going here. Now we're making Eldritch Horror dinosaurs.
Eldritch
Yeah,
Park.
why not? Oh, dude, it's
Eldritch Park.
Eldritch Park.
Welcome to Eldritch Park.
A lot of accordion for some reason in Eldritch Park.
I don't understand. You can't look at anything in Eldritch Park, though.
You will go insane. Come to my park. Do not stare at any of the creatures for any reason. You will go insane.
Thank you for coming.
Is it the best or worst amusement park? I mean, at least they're upfront about it, you know.
Anything you look at, you will lose your mind.
You have to sign a waiver before you can go into the park.
Oh, you have to sign a waiver, sign this, make out your living will, and sign this other piece of paper that denotes that it's not our fault if you die.
Yeah. Common legal stuff, as they're want to do in Shadowrun.
But they really push that, making sure your living will is in order before you set foot in the park.
I want to be really sure.
Really sure. So it's a hollow amber orb, and the attaching metal originally gave the idea that it may have been a tiara or crown of some sort. But with closer inspection, it shows that this is not true. The silver that is around the orb is more like that of a strap of an eye patch.
An Eldritch eye patch?
So somebody had an amber fake eye.
Yes.
Oh.
That was held in place by this silver, and you have the hollow amber eye that has a small translucent hole in it. So it is to resemble an actual eye.
As though it were a material to allow you to peer past the veil of reality in some way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Perhaps
Yes.
peering into the astral,
The
maybe?
madness.
Yes.
One must be able to see in both the real realm and the astral to fully comprehend the madness.
Whoa. All ghouls are mad, confirmed. Even the ones who retain.
Exactly.
I mean, how many times has Karma threatened to eat somebody? I mean,
Oh,
it's just a matter of
I
time.
think he was like that
it
before
is.
that though, but
Yeah. Well, it really just brought it to the forefront. You know, it really
he had
just.
an excuse now.
Yeah. Now it's justified. Before we were just like, yeah, all right, man, you do
Before we
you.
were like, Karma, please stop bringing this up. We get it.
Karma, we get it. Yeah.
Do your own thing.
Do your thing. So with the examination of this amber eye, the initiate that was examining it started to rant and murmur about it staring back at him before tranquilizers were necessary. He needed to be put to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's not alarming at all.
The most
something stare at madness, something madness stirs back.
something yes, and something is quite accurate.
Yeah.
The most important find out of all three of these apparently is a knife that's double-edged. The handle is crafted of wood, but both the wood and the seemingly simple cord wrapping the handle have not given way to the ravages of time.
But are we talking like oak? Are we talking like redwood? What are we talking about here?
It doesn't say the specific wood.
Shame.
I know, right?
I want to know what kind of wood is the most eldritch.
That's a good question.
It's probably cherry.
Actually, there's a tree. Hey, you're gonna get some Islander lore. There's a tree in my native home in the Northern Mariana Islands called the Tatamona tree, and it's supposedly haunted by a nature spirit. And if you don't ask for permission before cutting it down, you're going to experience some bad times. I think it was on Destination Truth or something.
Wow. Bad times, you say?
Well, so like the guy in the show, they used it to rappel down a cliff, but someone had warned him that you were supposed to like ask for permission. He didn't, and then he got like really injured when he climbed down.
Ooh.
Spooky. My grandparents had two of them in their front yard.
Oh boy.
Maybe I've always had an affinity for madness.
Oh, the spirit realm.
Oh my.
The blade, upon astral inspection, appeared to not have any enchantments, or no clear enchantments could be discerned. The blade is keen and the material is strong. When using the blade or holding it, the user is left with an aftertaste in their mouth.
When they taste the blade?
No, when they hold the blade.
Oh, when they hold it, they just get this.
Yes, they get a distinct aftertaste. It's listed as a dark and potent one.
With notes of chocolate.
I believe I detect acai berries.
Oh.
This knife is good for my digestive tract.
It is giving me my antioxidants.
Yeah, I don't want no wine tasting. I want some ancient eldritch knife tasting. You're just holding knives.
I only use eldritch horror knives for my charcuterie board.
An ancient Raleigh Deep Cthulhu decanters.
Exactly.
Really, it must aerate for at least 2 millennia.
So remember that this is being reported by Ordo the Ordo Maximus. So these are vampires or vampire worshippers, right? That are doing the excavation and delving into these relics that they find. One of the initiates decides to test the blade on another one.
They are the most stabbable.
The quote for this is, unlike with such experiments performed with SD-17, she bled profusely, and there was no visible change to the blade.
After stabbing someone?
Yes.
Neat. That's fine.
Further testing upon two other initiates carried out while both were enscrolled into wildly differing emotional states after being stabbed.
Oh, from being normal to angry. I don't blame him.
Heard that tends to happen when you get stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
You normally become pretty upset.
The initiate who is using the knife is reaching out to request further testing because they would be remiss if they did not see this through to its end. And they would like to test it on the local village as opposed to their fellow researchers.
As Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, 2, and to a lesser extent 1 have all taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It says
a controlled sample size. What could go wrong?
With all due haste, granting me an allowance based on the village's population. I must be thorough. The blade calls to me to spill blood.
Okay, well, that guy's just a villain. Like, that's pretty obviously a bad guy. Nobody says that. Nobody just says that.
They didn't transcribe it.
This is his request going through.
They didn't transcribe it, but he was cackling the entire time he was explaining this.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
He goes on to say
it's in the brackets underneath the cackling excessively is written. Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
2 episodes.
2. Yes.
Back to back referencing. Was that last episode?
Or the one before.
Time.
I think it was yeah.
It was last episode.
Okay.
Hey.
There we go.
And brought to you by Eldritch Knowledge, also known as Remembering a Few Days Ago.
Anyway, the initiate goes on to say, as the patron of this excavation, it falls to you to determine how many subjects I may test it upon. Respond as quickly as possible. I am eager to begin, and the long nights here both grant me ample time for experimentation and an all too familiar sense of boredom.
Dear diary, I still haven't heard back from my correspondence.
Exactly. Good old magic murder knives.
My favorite.
Yeah, that guy is obviously a villain. Like, I don't understand how this got so out of control.
He's a vampire. What do you expect?
Some vampires are cool.
Yeah, man.
Like the one that hunts his own vampire kind.
Yeah,
he gets it.
And Alucard, who's also a vampire who hunts his own vampire kind.
So a small aside right here. One of the reasons Martin is so famous in the vampire underworld, I guess, is not only does he hunt his own kind, he feeds off of them.
Blood is blood, right? Yeah.
Hey. I'm not gonna knock him for it,
You're not gonna vamp shame?
No vamp shame over here.
We don't suck shame around here.
Whoa. Phrasing.
I said it with my chest.
Sit with my chest.
Suck who you want to suck.
More importantly, he said it with his throat.
Boy, howdy did I. Ladies.
Ladies. Oh my.
I'm gonna put that on my dating profile. I don't suck shame.
Okay, moving on.
Tyler, I think in your descriptor for your dating profile, you should put just a Hoover looking for my dirt pile.
Oh God. All right.
The next bit of information dump that we get is about something called Project Nox.
KNOCKS or
NOX.
NOX.
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
So
It's always
cool.
NOX.
It's always NOX.
It is
It's
always
always
NOX.
NOX.
Well, it's Project Nox Lil Itu.
No, it's Project Nox.
Okay.
NOX, 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 NOX.
This comes from the desk of a 5th degree magus, apparently in the Ordo Maximus. I don't know how high that is in their Masonic teachings or whatever.
I was really hoping it was going to be a 5th degree black belt in the 5th degree order. And I was like, hell yeah, that dude kicks ass.
He's got to start. It's got to start somewhere.
Guys, honest question. Why is vampire karate not a bigger genre? Like, that could be cool, right? Like, imagine like a Shaw Brothers style like martial arts movie, but the main character is just a vampire and he just hunts other vampires.
With karate.
I feel like you're pitching
with karate.
I feel like you're pitching a movie that needs to be pitched to Hollywood right now.
No, I'm pitching it to you guys because I'm more interested in your opinion. I don't care about Hollywood's opinion.
I would totally watch a kung fu vampire movie.
Like, imagine that he has like a steel, like he wears like a steel handguard so he can like heart pierce people while he's kung fu fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty all right. That's how you kill the vampire.
Does he use guns?
No, it's a kung fu movie.
Okay, so just checking.
This isn't a John Woo style movie. This is this is like a straight up.
Although I would love if there's a shot in that movie where someone is shooting and they're jumping to the side with 2 guns, and instead of doves, it's bats.
It's bats. Yes. Yes.
Hollywood.
Yes. Call us.
Yeah.
Or don't, because I don't care about your opinion. But if you want to pay me money for this idea, then yeah, call me. That would be great. Oh man. It all comes back to the horror action discussion that we've had previously.
Yes.
That genre needs more representation. I shouldn't say better. It needs more.
Needs more.
But sorry, I got us way sidetracked.
No, that's okay. Underrepresented needs more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please,
sure.
please now, please. Anyway, so we're getting a report from this 5th degree magus. Unfortunately, not a black belt.
Guys, real quick. Sorry, I need to go back. I just had a thought, and I need a second opinion on this.
Okay.
Would you consider the Pirates of the Caribbean movies to be action horror films? Because in the first movie, they turn into spooky skeleton pirates, and in the second and third movie, they're fighting against the literal ferryman of death in his army of fish monsters. Like, they're kind of horror action, yeah. Like at least a little bit.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like it's played off more as menacing horror as opposed to like psychological horror.
No, I'm not saying that it needs to be like jump scare horror, but like it's the overall tropings of spookiness.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, because the most recent one, it's literally ghosts.
Yeah, they're literally ghost pirates. Like,
I mean, it's like the Mummy. Like, that's a action horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Is it's like the Mummy's not a scary movie.
No,
it just uses atmosphere.
I don't know, man. It's got that one's got some jump scares.
Well, it's got some jump scares, but did you see the teeth when the guy gets really close to Elizabeth in the closet in the first one? That's horror. That's a horror show.
Or the lack of eyeballs and stuff.
Non-existent pirate dental. That's the true horror.
Gingivitis.
The scurvy only took me gums.
They weren't aware of the silent horror that is gingivitis.
Sorry, I just wanted an opinion on
that.
No, that's fine, man. That's fine. That's good.
People wanted to know.
Listeners, feel free to chime in.
I say yes.
I would agree. Yes. I would agree. Yeah.
I would not show it to small children. Or I would.
Or you know.
They gotta learn something.
Listen, let's be fair. A child needs to at least understand the concept of rum to appreciate Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh well,
True.
that's just a
Because
given.
otherwise you remove one of the best Captain Jack scenes from the movie. So
Mhm.
but
Yes.
so sorry, back to the fifth level Magus and all his shenanigans.
He is conducting an experiment on Krieger strain infected. And remember, the Krieger strain are the ghoul infected. His, this is going to be fun. His experiment on him entails only feeding the Krieger strain ghoul. He's only feeding him other ghoul flesh.
Haven't we talked before about why that's a big no-no?
Yes, it's not a good look. He's doing it in an experiment to see if this will cause any kind of significant change in the ghoul, as there could be an amplification of sensitivities, appetites, or a possible genetic shift from eating so much of the ghoul meat. However, since he only has the one test subject, it's not producing any kind of significant results. So he's putting in a request to the Vampiric Order for a large stock of ghouls.
Vampiric Order, one ghoul, please.
We need a ghoul community so I can separate it into the various categories that I require to do
I,
my experimentation.
I will require at least 5 of your best ghouls and about 60 other ones for them to eat.
Well,
Please and thank you.
he's aiming for about 100 ghouls. Some of that,
Bro, you always start small and upscale. Come on, let's just.
well,
He's gonna crash himself out if he doesn't.
some of that is going to be used as, meat for the rest of them. So there's that.
Yeah, that's what I said. We need like 5 of your best ghouls and then another 60 of them to feed to the other ones. Yeah.
So the way this reads is just like, this is a very academic look at this weird experimentation. He gets his new shipment of ghouls, and after a month of concentrated meta-cannibalistic nutrients, his test group begins to exhibit strange, isolated cases of synchronization, where they can't see each other, but 2 of them both twitched in the exact same manner at the exact same time for 32 seconds.
Breakthrough.
We did it.
Right?
So it's just written as like an academic journal.
It's written like an academic paper, like a research paper. It does go on to say later 3 more subjects each exhibited synchronization, where they all sat on their cots at the same time and began whispering the same words for 3 minutes.
Nothing alarming here.
Yeah, when asked, and the words they were speaking are not in any known language. And when questioned, each said it just came to them
at the same time.
Yes. Sleep recordings showed the groups would speak in random clusters in their sleep, again in the unidentified language. They have subsequently increased their dietary intake.
They were like, you guys need more ghouls?
You need more ghoul meat. Here, have this.
I believe in the 6th world, they refer to processed ghoul meat served for the purposes of nutrition as G fuel.
Holy moly.
Just add water.
And shake.
Well, the dietary increase apparently did cause some kind of reaction. The same Magus doing a supplemental report, says that their dietary intake increase proceeded for 12 days before incident. The incident resulted in the loss of Group Aleph and Facility Pillar 2. So they lose a whole group and an entire facility.
Justifiable losses.
Right? Group Aleph simultaneously turned toward the researcher as he was walking the round. So the way he would, and each appeared to be watching him through the glass, despite the impossibility of them being able to see through the thick warded glass.
And somewhere down the long hallway, he swore he could just hear the faintest "Turn around."
Every now and then, get a little.
He was never seen again.
Well,
some people say that you can still hear the haunting echoes of the Bonnie Wright Memorial Ring.
For Group Aleph, their eyes all exhibited phosphorescent qualities.
And I need you more.
Much like extreme emotional or metaphysical exertion in a different strain. Their eyes were a uniform purple and lacked surface volume.
Oh, so they were just flat purple?
Yeah. Astral observations seem to indicate some kind of astral rift reflected in them.
Oh, so they've got Cyclops eyes.
Streaming and smoking with violet energy. So when they looked at them in the astral, their eyes were just fumes of this violet energy were coming out of their eyes.
So they've got Cyclops eyes. Like X-Men.
Except they're not optic blasting.
Well, no, but the explanation of Cyclops' eyes is that his eyes are portals into like another dimension's sun, and that the optic blasts are like the radiation produced by the sun being sent through the portals to shoot out. It's real dumb, but it's canon, so you know you can't argue with canon.
So as the researcher is doing his rounds, he happens to look up from his data pad and sees them watching him, and he seems shocked, his mouth opening to speak when they spoke as one to him through the comm speakers, which should have been impossible. And the recorded message is, "You aren't supposed to be looking, Albert."
It's all fun and games until they know your first name.
Right?
Then you're fucked.
when a group of test subjects suddenly knows your first name, you're done. You're just done. They each held up one finger and slowly shook it in a chastising manner. You didn't say the magic word.
That's pretty creepy. I love that.
Well, it gets worse.
Oh.
As they're chastising him and shaking their fingers back and forth, his arms go limp and he begins swaying in time with their gesture.
So Albert's a team player is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this caused the other researcher who's giving the supplemental report to freak out and run for the elevator to get out of there. And as the doors of the elevator were closing, the other researcher turns to look at him, and his eyes were violet as well. He was smiling.
Albert, no.
He knew the truth.
In such a short time.
Security reports all cameras in the room cut out, and power fluctuations were reported radiating from the Aleph lab. The vampire manages to make it past quarantine in mist form and escaped up the shaft before the elevator stalled and fell to the bottom of the complex.
Very normal, very cool.
Yeah, he was the last to leave before containment protocols activated the seismic charges and sent the pillar down into the sea rift.
Not as cool.
Not as cool.
But he made it out.
So from eating an increased amount of ghoul meat as ghouls, some kind of connection was made somewhere.
So my understanding so far is that all the old god in quotes stuff is primarily like related to like vampires and ghouls.
Well, it's from their research.
Oh.
Whatever they're doing to the other infected is causing some kind of astral connection to something. Then the next bit of information we get definitely reads more like an SCP file, and it's titled The Pages.
Okay.
Official name, Item 13, Item 76, Item 144. All reclassified as Item 13. Category, Discovered Lore. Protocol, do not read an individual page more than once per lunar cycle. Under no circumstance read multiple pages in one sitting. It is recommended that no sharp objects be near the reading location.
Hmm.
Description. Originally, each of these pages was believed to be from a separate source due to differences in material and handwriting, but ongoing analysis has shown that they have been drawn from the same source. It seems that the author's decaying mental state led to the various handwriting samples. Item 144 is entirely in an unknown dialect, while the other samples are in English, albeit a rambling style. Partial mathematical formulae are scribbled in the margins. If the full tome could be reconstructed, it is thought that this formulae could unlock an entirely new level of understanding. The pages make reference to, quote, she who thrives beneath the rot, with repeated references to beetles and earthworms. Centipedes have been sketched on 2 pages. Those who have read the later pages have talked of the feeling of bugs crawling underneath their skin, strongly upon first reading, then lessening in intensity over the course of several days. Rereading the pages returns these feelings stronger than before and for a greater length of time.
I've always liked the concept of incorporating cosmic horror into like the mundane,
Mm-hmm.
but like not necessarily just having everything be unspeakable horrors, like using earth things to manifest like insects.
Mm-hmm.
Because like centipedes look like a cosmic horror. Like
Centipedes are disturbing, okay?
that creature makes no sense.
As
Like it
fast as they
doesn't
can move,
they're terrifying. So like I would believe that that is the closest we have to cosmic horror on Earth is like a fucking centipede or a millipede.
have you seen giant centipedes
Oh yeah.
from Indonesia? They're
Oh yeah.
terrifying.
Is it the red centipede, right? Is like one of the
Yeah.
most dangerous insects on the planet.
Well, if you watch a little show on history, I think it's on history called, what did they call it? They were basically testing the pain tolerance
Oh yeah.
from different stings and bites,
Yeah.
you know. And they did a sting from the Indonesian giant centipede,
Uh-huh.
and they were just laid out for almost 2 days.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
like
terrifying.
that and like the bullet ant are supposed to be like the two most painful insect bites on the planet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like the amount of venom that's in the centipedes as well is like they're like up there with brown recluse is like the most dangerous.
Yeah, they can just
It's
keep biting.
yeah, it's so
Terrifying.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah, they are nightmare creatures, and I wholeheartedly 100% back the we bring our eldritch goddess in via insects. I'm down with this. I like this. I like where this is going.
So the next few instances of these possible cosmic horror incidences are, again, very much read like SCP files, and I will continue to read them as such because clearly that's the best way to present it, right?
Down with that.
The next one on the list after the pages is Brown Sanitarium. Official name, Location 96. Category discovered lore. Protocol. Research has barely begun, but at this time, no adverse effects have been noted. Field research has proven difficult. Purchase of the facility is impractical. Current consideration is for the walls in question to be dismantled and transported to a secure area. The description. Brown Sanitarium was decommissioned roughly a century ago, having been originally constructed in Rhode Island in 1881 by the Brown family. The Browns lost their fortune in the Great Depression, and their home was donated to the state for use as a mental hospital until closed in 1982. Long abandoned, we are uncertain when magical activity first began there. Our earliest report dates to 2049, and true investigation didn't start until 2059. One secured room, location 96, was found with extensive writing in an obscure dialect that we have yet to fully decipher. They believe that it is Elven. 3 of the 4 walls are covered in this writing, a combination of blood and fecal matter the occupant must have used until their death, while the 4th is a triangular pattern with a complicated spiral pattern inside. We believe that this might be an astral gateway whose operation is encoded in the writing, but research is ongoing. Personal addition. The difficult part will be the care that must be taken in the disassembly and reassembly. It's possible that the facing of the potential portal must be exact to align the gateway. Joining our end to an unknown area is ill-advised. You want to go through the poop blood gateway?
No, not really. No, I'm good. I think I'm good to go.
You think so?
Nah, I gotta go someplace.
I gotta go someplace not here.
Yeah.
The next item we have is the watch. Official name item 17. Category magical artifact.
Wait, do we not get to find out what's on the other side of the blood poop gateway? Like,
They haven't deciphered how to open the gateway. They're still deciphering the language, which apparently is possibly Elvish.
How dare you tempt me with the prospects of a blood poop gateway easy, and then you rip it away from me.
I'm so sorry.
God.
I'll have to flush it.
Oh, this. So, sorry, what'd you say the next one was?
Yes. Remember, camera toilet is always watching.
Hey, that is a technological marvel. I draw the line at magic with my toilet.
Okay. No
Keep them
magic
separate.
toilets.
Like church and state, keep magic and toilets separate.
Wow. Anyway,
how much
moving
more?
on.
No, wait, hang on. Hang on, wait. Now this has been brought up as a possibility. How much more efficient do you think a magic toilet would be if instead of flushing it with water, it just like every time you flipped it, it opened like a pocket dimension, and it just all your waste just goes into the pocket dimension.
I feel like Simpsons did it.
I think it was a Rick and Morty joke. Because I'm not that clever. I think that because wasn't that how his weird toilet throne worked on the private planet that he had for himself? I think it was something like that.
I don't know.
But from an efficiency standpoint, is a pocket dimension in every home more efficient for the world than using water for waste? Yes or no? Easy. That's all I'm asking.
No, because what could come out of the portal? I don't want to think of what strange thing could come out of the portal when I sit down on my toilet.
You know, if you have a bad, like, if your toilet breaks and it leaks water, then it leaks water. But like, if your pocket dimension toilet breaks, that could like just destroy the universe. So that's probably bad. Like, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay,
Tyler.
All right, never mind. Back to water-based camera
I mean-
toilets. Tyler, you win again, I guess.
Yep, technology conquers all, as always.
There you go.
No, like if it was one, I'm just thinking like if I'm exposing myself to this otherworldly gateway, it better be one way, I swear to God. And two, like, am I gonna get some like I'm thinking about this way too realistically. Am I gonna get like residual magic on my bum?
On the butt? Well, that's why you get like anti-magic wet wipes.
Magic wet wipes.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
you wipe
God.
it, you wipe with the wet wipe, and then you can throw that in the pocket dimension as well when
Now,
you're done.
are we also assuming
Wait, because it's an
hypothetical-
anti-magic wet wipe, does that cancel out the magic of the portal?
No, because that would be an even worse idea.
The fact you thought
Obviously,
it's a bad idea.
that's not how that would work.
Yeah, obviously.
Look,
You know, R&D still hammered it out a little bit. All right, we're in concept phase right now. So like,
how many facilities have you inadvertently destroyed?
That's confidential information, my friend.
First off, are you a cop?
Yeah. Are you a space toilet, a magic cop?
Because yes or no, that's a question for my lawyer. And secondly, yeah, magic toilets are a bad idea. I think you've convinced me of that today. Yeah, no, that's fine. I will admit that.
The final straw of magic toilets are a bad idea is, usually from these terrible, unspeakable dimensions, there are things with tentacles involved, and I've watched an anime or two in my time, and I don't like where that goes.
Well, but with modern smart toilets, you have to pay extra for that easy. So you're
just saying
that
feature. It's a feature, not a bug.
Exactly.
Welcome to the future.
And so if you're saying that comes stock model now, dude, like that's a compelling argument,
man.
Yeah, dude. Like,
what are you doing?
That's just a free add-on?
Back in my day, I had to pay out the ass to get something in my ass.
Literally to figuratively.
Yeah. Kids have it so easy these days.
What have we done?
Easy. Take it back. Magic toilets, great idea. Great idea. Never backing down again. By your convictions, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next item, which is called the Watch. It's a magical artifact. The protocol for the Watch, if discovered, store in a secure area with no interaction with metahuman auras. Contact superiors for pickup. The description. The watch is a golden pocket watch manufactured in London, England, circa 1880. Notable for the engraving H.E. Pennymore engraved on the rear and for the hourglass design on the cover. It's an obviously master-crafted timepiece that still needs regular winding, and it keeps excellent time. It also bonds with the astral energies of one person, treating them as a host, while simultaneously draining astral energies from others in proximity. This energy, in return, is used to produce minor magical effects for the attuned, in essence, making them lucky. While others in their life gradually suffer misfortune, take ill, or waste away from an unknown disease. Eventually, the attuned comes to realize that the watch is the source for both their good fortune and the woes of their friends and family, and will remove the watch from their life. The watch has passed through our hands twice, but each time someone has tested it out, begun the process, and aborted the procedure when the consequences began to be known. Currently, the watch is in the wild. We must not lose it a third time. Notes: there have been reports of the watch being destroyed, either melted down, crushed with a hammer, or flung into a chasm or the ocean. Either the watch can reform itself and somehow call to be found, or there are multiple watches in circulation.
Okay, so when you originally said that it was the watch, like the first thing that my brain immediately went to is it just imagined like a cultist Christopher Walken. And then
3 years.
and
3 years I hid this watch.
And then as soon as you kept describing what the watch does, then I kept imagining Christopher Walken in Pulp Fiction, and he's like, I had to hide it in my ass. And you're like, and then the luck radiated out from inside, and he realized that his greatest food was his most horrible nightmare.
What a
Oh,
reference. What a
oh.
reference. I love it. It's fantastic.
It just kept getting more ridiculous in my head the more you kept describing this, because the whole time I'm just like Christopher Walken explaining this to a small child while he's holding a watch in his hand, dressed in a full cultist garb.
Oh my god.
Oh, so good. Okay, sorry. That sounds like a nightmare, by the way.
Oh yeah, where you constantly are being lucky, but everyone around you is succumbing to horrible misfortune.
I always appreciate when cosmic horror has like a slight monkey's paw to it. It's always a fun time. It's always a fun time.
Right? And it can't be destroyed.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah. What good is it if it can be?
How else are you going to be able to know it's lucky time if you destroy your watch?
Well, Tyler, I have to let you know that things are about to get even more interesting, as now we're going to start to talk about the other species. And of course, in traditional SCP kind of the way they do things, we will continue. The first official name, Other Species 02, also known as crawlers, is an astral mutation. Protocol states standard astral barriers can keep them contained and idle, but exposure to humanoid astral signatures sends them into a chittering excitement. They are unable to affect the material world in any way, but swarm a target all the same. Slavering with a primal need, astral forms are assaulted with a devouring intent. Do not approach crawlers without assistance. Magical fire seems to keep them at bay, but if hungry enough, they will advance regardless. Mana barriers are mandatory. The description: twice the size of a human, these mutated spirits are a blend of beetle and spider, but rather than legs, they possess 8 hairy tentacles. As with other spirits, the illusion of their movement, a slithering translocation, is actually flight, so they make no sound when moving. When within 4 meters of prey, they instead leap in a tentacle splayed manner that ensures that they can wrap their limbs around a target. Once the target is held tightly, they display 3 mouths behind their mandibles and begin to feed. Interestingly, they possess only 3 eyes, with the central one being more lizard like, while the remaining 2 are shockingly human. Notes recovered in Atslan suggest that crawlers are created in some way from spirits of man, but as of this time, we have not uncovered the technique. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
I mean, I only ever jump with my tentacles splayed, so
How better to entangle your prey?
exactly. I just assumed that was common form.
Moving right along, our next.
No, wait. I want to hear Tyler's opinion on the creepy crawlies.
Oh, on the crawlers?
I don't want to say this condescendingly, but I felt like we were going for like the spooky eldritch, hey, it's my first Cthulhu checklist. I want something inspired.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the creepy worm bugs is too generically cosmic?
I think so. I think I'm a little
It's been
jaded.
done before, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Well,
as you were describing it, I also, again, with my brain, I
What?
started thinking about Slither.
Okay, okay,
God,
okay,
And
mhm.
so like the entire time I was just imagining that, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of, it sounds like it's just kind of like that thing.
Oh,
okay.
geez.
Now with that in mind, I also
Mm.
have trouble visualizing things, so I just could not get over hairy tentacles.
Mm.
Like that just seems weirdly gross, not too horrifying, but imagining it like attached to something from Slither.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The concept of hairy tentacles is also just funny because it's like if a normal tentacle grabs you and you're like, oh, it's slimy and gross and disgusting. Then if a hairy one grabs you, you're like, oh, it's kind of damp.
It's kind of
Like,
warm.
yeah, it's weirdly warm. It's a little coarse. Like, I don't. This
And it
is
has
not
a
a
beak.
fun. And it has a beak. Not a fan across the
Mm.
board.
Well, allow me to introduce you to other species 04, otherwise known as gum toads.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They are an astral entity as well. Protocol when encountering gum toads. While gum toads have only been observed in the astral, their ectoplasmic excretions gradually cross into the material world, leaving a slimy residue behind. Notable for having a consistency on par with flypaper while smelling like mildew. This signature effect has led to them being gathered in fair number. Gum toads are docile in most instances, and if left in a dimly lit room, are content to simply reside there, idly snacking on whatever spiritual energy passes through, moving only when left unfed for a full lunar cycle. Small spiritual forms are as attractive to them as flies to a frog. All members are under the strongest advisement to keep all ally spirits away from the gum toad containment areas. Gum toads have a particular affinity for wild spirits and will sometimes motivate themselves to move in gradual pursuit of these morsels. Proper warding will keep such temptation at bay. The description: nearly the size of a cow, these morbidly obese toads are covered in thick layers of excretions with a thickness on par with tar. Gum toads ooze this material at a rate of roughly a liter a day in ordinary conditions, but when the toad is excited, this flow can increase greatly. Gum toads have a tongue approximately 7 meters long that they can fire with a sharpshooter's eye and astounding speed, drawing prey into their mouth. Interestingly, they rarely chew prey, instead, using their forelegs to hold it in place, then coat it with a combination of drool and excretions, pinning them to a surface where they can be devoured at their leisure, usually when an astral form begins to dissipate. Yum, yum, yum.
It's a very involved process, but it's like
I've-
a spider, but it's a frog.
yeah, well, it's sticking them to walls with their secretions to eat them later.
Yeah, so it's like a spider.
Kind
Sticks
of.
it to the wall and then waits and
Yeah,
then
except it's the size
so,
of a cow and it's a toad.
or for you, easy, it's more like killer clowns from outer space, put them in the cotton candy cocoons and wait for
why
them to gestate
why for
properly.
me? Why for me
Because you're a
specifically?
man of culture.
Because I have a sneaking
Uh,
suspicion that Tyler has never seen Killer Clowns from Outer
Mm-mm.
Space.
Nope.
And so
oh,
I
you
felt like that
needed
would be a
someone to get the
reference.
reference. I
I
got it.
felt like that reference would be directed to you then.
Yes, you are correct. You are indeed correct.
I kind of like this concept of like the mundane, again, like the mundane cosmic horror.
Mhm.
Like, we never really see like non-violent, horrifying monster like
And
astral creatures
and
and
just
entities.
docile toad cows.
Yeah, like the gum cow sounds cool as long as it doesn't try to eat you. Like, but
Well,
that's
it
most
wouldn't.
animals, you know.
It
Like,
doesn't attack people. It specifically eats spirits.
yeah. So then you're good. Yeah,
Yeah, as
it's
long as you don't conjure spirits, you're fine.
have a reliance on conjured spirit. That would be a bad time. Druids, not a fan of gum cows. Um,
Definitely not. Definitely not.
but I think that that's just like a cool concept, like the other creatures that just exist, because like it can't just be that like the cosmic realm is all horrifying monsters, all that, like it's just the worst place ever.
Hmm.
Trying to kill you all the time.
All the
Yeah,
time.
like give me a little bit of a breather is all I'm asking for.
Well, you're getting a little bit of it.
I
I
want it
like
to
it.
kill me,
I
but I
like
want
it.
it to have hobbies.
Yeah, that's what, like the gum cow probably knits.
Yeah, it's known to crochet. Is it
Yeah.
gum frog
Gum
Or
gum
toad.
toad?
sorry, gum toad. Why do I keep calling it gum cow?
Because it's
Because
the
I
size
Because
of a
it's the
cow.
size
because
of a
it's the
cow.
size of a cow, and that's like the thing. That's the
And
thing that's sticking
I
in my
hate
brain,
to
and I'm like,
say it. I don't know if this says
uh,
about me, but calling it a gum cow makes it sound kind of cute.
yeah,
It's a
right.
gum
It
cow.
does. It's a gum
Aw.
cow.
Oh,
Oh,
what do you guys do? Oh, I just raise gum cows.
I just imagine
yeah,
a
dude.
cow, but it's got a long tongue that just derps out of the side. I was
Oh
I
Wow.
was completely wrong. They do not look like that.
no,
Well,
but I like those ones better.
Hell
I say
l-
gum cow
yeah.
for life.
Hell
let's
yeah.
see
Hell
how
yeah.
you feel about other species 09, also known as sin eaters.
Oh, probably pretty metal. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it sounds like these guys fuck. I don't know, dude.
Protocol for interacting with sin eaters. Sin eaters have a unique ability to communicate to the material world. These communications are extremely quiet, whispers that only a single person can hear inside their mind, but astral originated energy entering the material world in any way is highly unusual. Mana barriers and wards can keep this communication at bay, but mundane exposure should be minimalized at all times. Sin eaters are as cunning as they are weak and are highly adept at manipulating the weak willed. The description:
Hmm.
each sin eater is a small, thin shadow of a humanoid creature like a shriveled husk of a metahuman mummy. They tend to be a monochrome gray shade, but attain a healthier shine while feeding. Of note is that a sin eater that has eaten its fill may continue to eat, at which point it grows a distended stomach to hold excess energy. While the leading theory is that they store this energy for dry periods between feedings, some research suggests that they can transport it and deliver it to other astral entities. What they gain for this bucket feeding is at this time unknown. It should be noted that sin eaters only feed on negative metahuman emotions, and that furthermore, we have identified 7 subspecies, each focusing on a particular malady. While there is variation in the exact details as a general guideline, these 7 are aligned with the traditional 7 deadly sins, giving rise to the nomenclature. These 7 are gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, envy, sloth, and pride. Each subspecies can only feed on that particular negative emotion and will hover in the astral near prominent sources of food. They will needle and prod at their food sources with their whispering, stoking these negative emotions in order to keep the feast flowing as long as possible without regard to the well being of the victim. A slothful person will be told that nothing outside is more interesting than what they have in front of them, that things can be put off later, that no one expects them to really make a meeting, that they should just stay there where they are, and so on, gradually convincing their victim to follow this path for longer and longer periods of time, providing the sin eater with more and more nourishment. In each case, no actual mind control has been in evidence. It's simply compelling arguments that victims usually think that they themselves have put forth. Only those able to perceive astrally know the difference.
So,
Come
okay.
on, I know you're going to do it. Come on.
So you're telling me that if okay, imagine I'm someone who can see into the astral, and I
Mhm.
just look over at Joe Schmo over there, and I see a lust demon thing. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, that demon is making that man horny a lot, and it is hungry. Woo!
Yeah, because as soon as you make eye contact with the demon in
Oh
the
no.
astral, it's gonna tell the dude just whip it out right now and just go to town. And that's gonna be your fault, Tyler, for looking.
I
You
enabled
pervert.
it. Ah, dang it! I did it again.
Listen, firstly, everybody knows that sin is the purest umami, so I don't blame the sinners. They know what they're doing.
Sin is the purest umami.
Nom 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 nom
Second,
nom.
secondly, how is nobody in the sixth world not just ever heard of a Patronus charm? I feel like that'll just take care of all their problems.
Let's just wipe them out real fast.
A
Hasn't
Patronus
anybody
that
watched Harry Potter?
Patronus that makes you horny.
No, a Patronus that makes you unhorny.
Bonk, bonk, bonk is what it is.
My
It's
Patronus is a
the
mallet.
If you know, you know.
it's the purifying white light of unsexiness.
Oh no. At first I was like, oh, that's nice. It like probably like gets rid of the emotion in the person. It's like a leech, but for bad feelings, but
No,
then
it
it
just
keeps making more.
eggs them on to feed off of
No,
that.
no, it's an amplifier for bad
Yes.
feelings and a leech at the same time.
It's which makes it worse.
The self-sustaining parasite.
Yeah, here I was thinking it was like because we were talking about nature and I was thinking about the birds that clean crocodile teeth, and I was like, oh, it's like a symbiotic relationship. It's like, no,
No.
that's a parasite. That's
It is.
parasite.
It is definitely a parasite.
He thought that there was going to be like a herbal health treatment of the sixth world that's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm sin leeching right now, bro. Like,
I'm sin leeching.
listen, man, I had like a little bit of vanity creeping in, and I was like, not today, vanity, and boom, pop
I'm
two
on
of
a-
those suckers on my
I'm on a
quads, bro.
sin-
Burned a
sin
little bit,
cleanse.
but I'm on a sin. I'm day 6 of my sin cleanse right now.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, dude, never felt better in my life. I sleep 16 hours a day. I eat 2 meals if I'm lucky, and I gotta tell you, man, living the dream.
In fact, I don't even know why I'm on this phone call. I'll see you later. Oh, wow.
Keeps calling us.
Hey guys, know you wanted me to check in.
I'm doing awesome as always. Yeah.
As always. Kicking ass.
Wrath kind of got the best of me, and my parents won't talk to me. Besides that, I'm doing good.
Wrath kind of got the best of me, and I can't go back to that Whole Foods, but you know.
Long story short, lust got a hold of me, and I can't go to schools anymore.
Oh,
Call me back when you get this message.
Oh,
I'm currently in jail.
I'm currently in prison.
I gotta say, I
really need someone to talk to.
Visited by the lust demon, and let me just tell you, it was a really awkward trip to the zoo.
Met up with the lust demon. Turns out not allowed back to the penguin exposure aquarium
They're
anymore.
sexy penguins. I mean, damn it.
God.
It's not my fault I get turned on by formal wear.
I love a man in uniform and a penguin.
Okay, okay. We're
Oh,
moving
please
on.
stop calling this establishment. This is an Arby's.
This is an RP.
Ma'am, this is an Arby's.
Excuse me. Oh, so good.
Oh.
This is a space Denny.
It's Denny's. Oh my god.
Oh, anyway, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Easy?
We're moving on. We're moving on.
Holy moly.
Oh god. Next on our, our list, we have Other Folk 01, also referred to as The Suffering. Category Corporeal Other.
It's my favorite Coheed and Cambria song.
Yeah. Protocol Treat as feral animals, contain in a secure area for observation, or release in labyrinthine areas. They require meat and water on a regular basis. Lifespans are often brief, but some have been seen to thrive. A large enough cluster of mixed genders can occasionally breed. Description: if a robot had never seen a human but had heard of them, and that robot was provided a room full of parts to assemble, they would create things like the Suffering.
I love this.
A
That's a hell of a
torso,
description.
a torso, sometimes two, co-joined, is standard with 1 to 8 limbs that are rarely matched properly, usually one head, but sometimes more or less, 0 to 4 eyes per head, 0 to 4 mouths per body, but often in unusual locations. Backed with the speed and strength of an adrenaline racked human, the Suffering usually shuffle around as best they can, clearly in pain, with those possessing mouths mumbling to themselves, weeping, or hissing through yellow teeth. Occasionally, they'll howl in agony, but when they detect metahumans, they turn all of their anger and pain upon them, hurling themselves at astonishing speed and savagery while making all too human screams. When slain, the Suffering quickly rot away into a black ichor, suggesting that they are somehow created of it. Notes: we have yet to be able to recreate the effect ourselves. The most promising research was lost when lead researcher Alan Wainwright slipped away with his notes, burning down our facility in the process. Rumors of the Suffering have since spread across UCOS, suggesting that he has engineered a process in some way. Wainwright is declared a priority target and should be recovered alive if at all possible. We believe he's heading to St. Louis at this time.
Okay, so this is talking about the Suffering, and then the guy who knew about them or knew the most about them
Was trying to recreate them.
was trying to recreate them.
Mm-hmm.
Who created them to begin with?
They don't know.
Ah, okay.
They've just found them.
Gotcha. I
There's
love
your
it. I always
true Cthulhian horror right there.
yeah, I always enjoy that concept of like the non-human human.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a new manga series that came out recently I've been reading called Dan to Dan. And
Mm-hmm.
the point is it's a relationship manga where one of the characters doesn't believe in aliens and the other one doesn't believe in the supernatural. And so they like challenge each other to interact with these things. And the girl who doesn't believe in aliens has a run-in with aliens and they're all wearing like human suits. And it is
Mm.
like, yeah, it is like the most horrifying panel reveal that I have turned to in a long time. Like it's very
Wow.
good. I'm a big fan of the unsettling nature of the like uncanny valley of humanity. When
Yeah.
you see something that you're like, that is a human, I think, technically.
Interesting.
it's very cool. So I've always been a fan of that type of body horror as well.
I also love
Themes.
descriptions like it's like if you toss this thing in a room with
Yeah.
all these things and it had no idea what it was doing, and it's like, yeah, that's a the imagination fills in the blanks, you know.
The next cosmic horror item is called item AZ57, and this is in relation to something called Project Melthium.
Uh-huh.
Item AZ57 is to be stored in an underground facility with no other arcane items within 1.5 kilometers. It is forbidden for any awakened individual or creature to enter this radius as well. Lastly, this item is to be kept at Site TV92, a well-known ley intersection, until and unless a more stable and powerful site can be arranged. So whatever AZ57 is, they're putting it on top of a ley line. Item AZ57 appears as a smooth, diamond-cut monolith of black rock, 10 meters on each side, with manifold veins of orichalcum running through it. When the item was originally acquired, the dark rock was dull, and the veins of orichalcum were not present. In 2061, corresponding with the proximity of Halley's Comet, the dark rock turned from dull to glossy, and the orichalcum manifested in veins. In the years since, the orichalcum has continued to grow in brilliance and ambient power. Item AZ57 may have some relation to the hitherto undiscovered artifacts known as methyline. Attempts to date the artifact have proven inconclusive.
Nephilim?
Yeah. Methyline.
Methamphetamines?
It's a meth rock.
Sure.
That's how you see into the astral, my friend. You want to open the mind's eye.
So yeah, it's weird that it grows orichalcum when it's set on top of a ley line.
Maybe that's where the orichalcum comes from to begin with.
Well, orichalcum is that specifically, magically occurring metal. So it would make sense. It wasn't naturally occurring until Halley's Comet passed, and then once it did pass, all of the orichalcum disappeared.
Yeah.
Except
the stuff that was grown.
The stuff that is stuck to this artifact, apparently. It continues to grow. Even after Halley's Comet has passed.
I mean, Halley's Comet just ruined everything, man. It ruined everything for everybody.
Did it? I
Set
thought
the
it brought some
expectations way
cool
too
stuff.
high. Like, you expect everything to be that cool after the comet.
Yeah, right? Yeah. We did set a high bar with the comet. It both ruined and made everything better.
Mm-hmm.
The next project that the Ordo is messing with is something called Project Bermondsey.
Bermondsey.
They acquired RB76, also known as the Bermondsey statue, also known as the Idol of Chemosh, acquired by trade from the Halloweeners gang in Redmond.
Okay.
RB76 is a small statue, 0.5 meters in height, made of an unknown pale green stone.
I see. I see where we're going with this.
It depicts a classical image of the elder god Chemosh, a deity alternatively worshipped and featured in the Levant. It features humanoid chest and arms, a Piscine lower body, and a taurine head. This description is not absolute, though, as multiple viewings of the object produce various alternative descriptions, which may vary based upon the observer the number of occasions observed, and proximity to the item itself. If touched, the item is amalgamous.
Amalgamous isn't like it's a combination of stuff, or
Like it can't be defined if touched when you're looking at it. It does not have discernible features at that point. After investigation, it is believed that the item was thought to have created Glow City that is located in the Redmond Barrens. Archived data suggests this item was responsible for the so-called Bermondsey Horror, large-scale unreported murders, and the outbreak of cholera in London. So they're saying that this object has been around for a while.
And they're saying it
connected back to 1849 England. Yeah, they're saying that it caused those things.
Just because it was there for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Extreme caution is suggested when observing or even approaching closer than 10 meters to the item. Uncontrollable urges, even among those of us who are typically unaffected, have been consistently observed. Behavior linked to murderous impulses, sacrifices, loss of higher brain function, obsessive actions, lack of impulse control, as well as loss of fine motor control have all been observed in repeatable experiments. So this thing is a do not approach, do not touch, for it be bad.
And just being near it makes you like more murderous and impulsive.
Yeah, or you could lose fine motor control. Or you could become obsessive about something.
That's a bad rock.
Yes, very bad. There are, what is it, 4 books that are actually referenced as run hook ideas for your players.
Like not Shadowrun books.
No, like for instance, this is called The Book of Dru, DRU, spelled DRU, right? And the hook is thrash metal has a new player as Dru has found a kindred spirit in the band Malevolent Sins and their prolific use of body mods. Angry music and Dru's silvery tongue convinces many groupies to follow them and torture themselves with painful piercing and the mark of Dru. While the tattooed symbol of Dru shows his influence, those who follow with a true branding of the symbol can be possessed/controlled by Dru. Dru mocks his brother through lyrics and even has the current album art showing a picture, a pale moon, his home. The band is currently touring Europe with future global plans, provided he can keep the band alive and not fighting. Dru has overextended his power by requiring all 4 members to work together. So it's an entity.
An evil entity named Dru.
Yeah.
Oh.
It has bands.
It's linked to body modification, and has found a home in thrash metal, angry music, and convincing people to torture themselves through extreme body modification.
Not cool, Dru.
Not cool, Dru. Yeah, not a fan.
One of the other ones is called The Book of Gaff, GAF. The Aleph Society surfaces in Peabody, Massachusetts as a religious sanctuary against CFD, shunning the technological Armageddon. Father Joseph was already leery of people who augment themselves, so it didn't take much from Gaff to entice him. The congregation grows as people fear their electronics can contaminate them. Those who repent are offered redemption with power from Gaff. As the congregation grows, Gaff starts to sow dissonance into the town, making them believe that some people have been taken over by the nanites. Gaff influences Father Joseph to use, quote, exorcism to purge these people, and witch trials occur, and Gaff starts to receive his sacrifices.
It's actually a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like instilling like paranoia or mistrust to
Yeah, in
to
regular
eventual
people, and then
or I mean sacrifices.
yeah, that lead to eventual sacrifices.
This has been reminding me of the show Supernatural, I believe,
Uh-huh.
where they had a character who was like a god of some religion, and it was like the god of truth, and it would force people to say really awful truthful things that would cause the person to get killed, so that she was
Oh.
getting her sacrifices that way.
Ah.
Yeah,
I mean that is
that'll do it.
that's one way to do it.
Yeah, it was pretty dark, I'll say.
You don't say.
Hey, easy as a quick aside question.
Mhm.
How much more do we have on this one?
That's about all we've got. We're here at the end.
Okay.
With the crazy eldritch horrors that can possibly exist, and at least one organization that is in pursuit of them. It's
Okay,
weird
cool.
when you think about it, that the Vampire Society is basically what some people would equate to the SCP Foundation.
Yeah, they're like, but it's funny because, well, I guess kind of with SCP, but it's like they're the ones creating it, but also containing it. Like,
Yeah, they're searching it out to try to categorize it, but also try to find ways to bend it to their will,
yeah,
so that they can use it,
yeah, it's like if the SCP was trying to weaponize the SCPs.
which would be horribly dangerous.
Uh-huh. As we are proving.
So it fits into Shadowrun, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? It probably would. Bring more eldritch horror to Shadowrun.
Yes, please.
Technically, I mean, if you really wanted to, as a GM, you could be inspired by some of the SCP monsters that exist, and technically bring some of them into the sixth world. How you would then handle them, I have no idea. That would
Especially if
take
they're,
some
like,
doing.
reality warping or just end up killing your party.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with some of like the super crazy ones that have
Just like weird ones.
world ending abilities just by looking at you type deal. But some of the more weird can be interesting to add.
Easy, can I get a sixth world romping adventure featuring oh god, is it no, he's not called Joker, right? The clown.
Harlequin.
Harlequin. Yes, I want a globe-trotting adventure with Harlequin and the Plague Doctor from SCP. Please, thank you.
He'll get on it right away.
Oh my god. I don't want to know what that would entail. That seems very frightening. You know what? We'll leave it to our listeners. Listeners, if you're familiar with the SCP Foundation, then let us know what you would like, or what you think would fit well into the sixth world, bringing from that particular bit of sci-fi horror, I guess.
And in regards to the cosmic horror realm, are there like greater deities known within the sixth world, or like
There are entities that are out
believed to
there.
be? Okay.
Yeah, they could just be extremely powerful spirits.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when dealing with mortals, of course you take a line from Ghostbusters: when somebody asks if you're a god, you say yes.
Exactly.
So, I would equate them to very powerful spirits.
And existing within the astral would make sense as well from a cosmic horror.
Exactly. I mean, there are metaplanes that we haven't even reached.
Yeah, truth.
In the sixth world. So, and the metaplanes are technically infinite. So, who knows what can be lurking out there?
So infinite cosmic horror. I like it.
That. Yeah.
Nothing to fear here.
No, definitely not. Let's just again, don't worship anything in yellow. You'll be fine. I don't know why, but that entity has always been the one that stood out to me from the
Pastor?
Lovecraftian horror. Oh, how dare you? No.
Yeah, I said it. I'll say it again. He's got the Beetlejuice rule. We're allowed to say it twice. Then we have to stop.
That's one question that we can put out as well. From, if you know your HP Lovecraftian horrors, what is your favorite cosmic horror?
I love that.
Tyler, what's your favorite cosmic horror?
I mean, a bit of a basic answer, but my top 3, like Cthulhu's up there. I also liked what is it called? So I'm a big fan. My favorite board game is Eldritch Horror. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
And that game is really good at adding weird, mundane horror and ramping it up. So like there's these characters like called the TikTok Men, and like a clock, not the platform. And there's just a lot of them, and they look identical. But on top of that, this is an aside, but there's a fun little like event where the game is set in the 1940s, and you pull out this weird brick that has a light on it, and there seem to be words on it, and it's basically describing a cell phone. But in 1940, that would be like horrifying because they have no idea what it is. Eldritch Horror, recommend.
It has a screen. It has it lights up. And
what is this strange brick?
A strange brick that isn't even made of masonry.
Exactly. Light with no cord is the devil's work.
I don't know if do you guys have favorites in the mythos?
Austin?
I mean, God, like entity wise, I've always been a big fan of Dagon. I enjoy the use of fish people, and the first Lovecraft story that I ever listened to that like legitimately creeped me out and like really made me uncomfortable was Shadows over Innsmouth. I love Shadows over Innsmouth. It is a fantastic story, but like the way that he depicts the horror of being the other, like the isolation of being the outsider, is like, it's really good and it's really affecting, and like the whole final chase sequence is just really well written. And so I've always been a fan of that. And then to tie into that as well, my favorite Lovecraft story is the Thing on the Doorstep, which is also about somebody who is being converted into a fishman because he married a woman from Innsmouth. So I've got a pretty good pertinence for both of those. Also the original like short story version of Reanimator is really good. It is a really good like what if Frankenstein but darker. And so well, oh yeah. And also the 1980s classic Reanimator movie is a good time if you really like campy horror. So those would be mine. Good old Herbert West and Dagon. I'm a big fan.
Dagon.
What about you, Easy? What do you got?
I have to go The King in Yellow.
There you go.
As one of my all-time favorites. Just
Are you talking about Haster?
You're just doing it on purpose this time.
Guys, just don't say it again and we'll be fine. It's okay. Again, like we know the rules.
That and what is the other one? That wears all the masks. That was the Egyptian one.
Are you talking about a deity or a story?
It was a deity from
Oh no. Oh no. My
Neil Larthatep.
That's what I was
Yes.
thinking.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Because who doesn't want to be ruled by a
The Dark Pharaoh.
the dark, essentially the Dark Pharaoh?
He really reminds me of Dream from Sandman.
Just evil.
Well, I don't know, man. Have you read Sandman?
I've
Dream's
always
not really a good guy. I mean, he's not a
he's more
villain, but
neutral than Narlathep is.
yeah, no, that's very fair. I will give you that. Neil Larthatep is very much very evil.
Like
Dreams in the Witch House is a fantastic story.
the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I had to look it up because it was driving me crazy. But the one that's most closely associated with Egypt is Nephron Ka. That's the Dark Pharaoh. But that's something else.
And the Arlathep is the crawling chaos.
Yeah, and it looks like a
You can't, no, you can't describe it. You cannot.
Okay, I wanted to say real quick because I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but like one of the stories that made me really like Lovecraftian horror was The Color Out of Space, and just describing looking at something and not knowing how to describe the horror you're looking at, or
Mhm.
like even a color that you can't describe is. I love stuff that lets me fill in the blanks like that.
Well, a lot of the eldritch, a lot of the eldritch horror comes from that whole like indescribable knowing to truly know madness.
And sometimes knowing the truth drives you crazy.
Well, yeah, no, knowing the truth drives you crazy
Yeah.
because then you realize that you know a lot of it is just your lambs or sheep to the cosmic slaughter.
Yeah, you realize your cosmic insignificance. But you know that
Uh-huh.
makes everything less terrifying when you realize that we're all little blips in the existential pool.
Does it, or does it make it worse because of the large things that subsist off of the blips?
You know, I subsist off the blips. Don't know what that means, but you said it, and I was like, "Yep, I feel it." Mm-hmm.
Well, again, listeners, please feel free to reach out to us to let us know your favorite cosmic entity or horror. There are quite a few of them. If you end up going down that rabbit hole, I wish you the best of luck and safe journeys for your sanity. But on a final note, as always, if you guys are really enjoying the content, and I hope you are because you're continuing to listen, and that's a good, right? Right, guys, right? So to help us with that, please feel free to come and join our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/critical_hits. Just $5 gets you behind the scenes. You get to peek behind the curtain. You get to see upcoming artwork that we have that's in the works. You get shouted out at the end of every one of our Sinless episodes. And you'll also be able to listen to our Patreon exclusive Worm Talks, where we take your questions and answer them for the Sixth World. All your burning Sixth World questions that you possibly have, or any new ones that crop up from listening to any one of these lore podcasts. Please feel free to do that. It greatly appreciated. Helps us stay around and continue to bring you this sweet, sweet, delicious content. I had fun with tonight's topic. It was a lot more cerebral than just straight lore, more snippets of what terrible undergoings are transpiring deep behind the scenes that the rest of humanity is oblivious to. That's always fun, right? All right, you guys. Well, thank you for listening this long. Again, we greatly appreciate you and all of your support. And as always, we will catch you on the next one.
The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sound, audio, video, and/or any proprietary materials used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. is granted permission to Critical Hits to use such names, logos, artwork, photographs, sound, audio, video, and or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Critical Hits in any official capacity whatsoever.